and welcome to the National Honor Society Induction and Award Ceremony. My name is Ryan Curtis, and I currently serve as the president of the Vernon Hills High School chapter of NHS. Being selected for the National Honor Society is a great accomplishment, and the students being inducted today should be very proud of their achievements. Students are admitted to the National Honor Society through a careful and diligent selection process and are granted admission by consistently displaying core characteristics in their school and community: scholarship, leadership, character, and service. These four characteristics are the pillars that make up the National Honor Society. The sand ceremony has long been a tradition in NHS induction ceremonies. We use a different color of sand to represent each of the four pillars. When combined, they form a beautiful representation of what National Honor Society is all about. We will begin with scholarship.
The first characteristic of a National Honor Society student is scholarship. All National Honor Society members meet the scholarship requirement for membership of a 3.4 GPA on a 4.0 scale.
True scholarship consists in knowing not what things exist, but what they mean. It is not memory but judgment. James Wilson.
Leadership. The second characteristic of a National Honor Society student is leadership. Student leaders are those who are resourceful, good problem solvers, promoters of school activities, idea contributors, dependable, and persons who exemplify positive attitudes and outlook. Leadership experiences can be drawn from school or community activities while working with or for others.
Your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more. You are a leader.
The third characteristic of a National Honor Society student is character. The student of good character upholds principles of morality and ethics, is cooperative, demonstrates high standards of honesty and reliability, shows courtesy, concern, and respect for others, and generally maintains a good and clean lifestyle.
Be more concerned with your character than your reputation, because your character is what you really are, while your reputation is merely what others think you are. The fourth characteristic of a National Honor Society student is service. This quality is defined through the voluntary contributions made by a student to the school or community, done without compensation and with a positive, courteous, and enthusiastic spirit. The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. Mahatma Gandhi.
It is our hope and expectation that both current and new NHS members will abide by these characteristics in high school and throughout the rest of their lives. I would now like to invite Mr. Austin to the stage to conduct the senior award ceremony.
Good evening. My name is Nick Austin, and I have the privilege of being one of the two advisors of the National Honor Society here at Vernon Hills High School. At this time, we'd like to honor our senior members of the National Honor Society. Over the last year, these seniors have upheld their NHS responsibilities by giving their time and efforts to the service of others. If you look at the inserts in your program, you will see that our senior NHS members have devoted themselves to service, tutoring, and to fundraising throughout the last school year. A list of the organizations with whom NHS has partnered is also included. I'm also aware that our senior NHS members are also heavily involved in sports, music, and other extracurricular activities, yet they still have made time to further the work of NHS, and for that, we're very appreciative. We are honoring these seniors tonight by giving them their NHS cords, which will be worn at our graduation ceremony in June. These cords will be a visual representation of the scholarship, leadership, character, and service that is evident in their lives. Seniors, first row, why don't you come on up? Seniors, when I call your name, walk to the middle of the stage and receive reports from Dr. Gilliam. Anthony McGuire. Sana Aljader. Ari Bard. Steffi Benito. Aubrey Lack. Kevin Bose. Jolie Gulos. Chantal Roast. Shenghua Chen. Emily Shirello. Jinju Chung. Margaret Collins. Brandon Cody. Ryan Curtis. Stephen Daniel. Kenny Dantes. Anusha Das. Serena Doan. Leah Dozmagan. Emily Fagel. Jade Golovsky. Margaret Hardin. Abby Hardy. Hiba Hashim. Rachel Hernandez. Matthew Hong. Rachel Jacobson. Caleb Jude. Sarah Kane. Kimberly Kamen. Aiden Kang. Reed Cantor. Isam Kayar. Isabella Kosaglas. Zachary Kurzenberger. Matthew Kushner. Samuel Lanneman. Ricky Laser. Finley Lau. Enos Lee. Kristen Lee. Sari Lee. Tatiana Lihaki. Pam Lin. Isaiah Liu. Karen Liu. Isabel Lopez. Willem Lucas. Diana Mollis. Jordan Martin. John McDonald. Hannah McGreevy. Dana Moline. Lillian Meyer. Jack Miller. Thomas Malenchik. Ivana Mora. Francesca Maraca. Megan O'Meara. Vivian Overbeck. Serena Penos. John Powell. Madison Croft. Brian Rubinowitz. Samantha Saliba. Ira Shin. Sneha Sivaram. Shannon Skio. Alexandra Spence. Kelly Sterikowitz. Carly Stern. Zachary Umansky. Molly Wasserberg. Rachel Weinstein. Nina Wiesblatt. Lucy Wu. Yvonne Yao. Priscilla Yim. All right, how about a real round of applause? At this time, I'd like to introduce our guest speaker for the evening, Mr. Paul Friedrich. Mr. Friedrich is a member of our Social Studies Department here in Vernon Hills and has taught many of these seniors and juniors in his AP US History class. Always a favorite teacher for many students that you just saw. We are honored to have Mr. Friedrich here tonight. Please join me once again in welcoming him.
That was nice. I'll just stop right now. That was cool. Thanks. Hey, good Tuesday evening to you all. It's nice to see you here. Oh my God, these first 5 rows, that is the best dressed group of nerds I've ever seen. Look at you on a Tuesday night all flowered up with ties on. Very impressive. I want to talk to you about somebody who's not a nerd, my favorite football player, Cristiano Ronaldo. Sorry, all you Messi fans. But Ronaldo is definitely not a nerd. He makes 80 million euro a year. That's dollars, pretty much. That means he makes 6.7 million euro each month. He makes 220,000 euro a day. He makes 9,000 euro an hour for not being a nerd. When he went to see Star Wars, The Force Awakens, he made 20,000 euro just sitting in the theater. He makes 150 euro a minute. He makes 2.5 euros every second. When he flies from his team's home in Madrid, Spain to New York City, he makes 75,000 euro just flying through the sky, man. When he watched Usain Bolt break the world record in a 100-meter dash, he made 9.5 euros while it happened. Cristiano Ronaldo makes more in 1 year than every single U.S. president in all their terms combined. Dude's cool, man. And if Cristiano Ronaldo saved 100% of his $80 million a year for 450 years, he still would not have as much as Bill Gates does today. Look strong now. Nerds rule the world. And so as you start on your nerd journey, those of you who are about to break through the halls of Vernon Hills out into the wide world, those of you who are juniors beginning to think of that next stage of your journey, I want to talk about the path that you take. I want to talk to you, Ned, about trusting the path that you're on, about creating your own path, and also having the boldness and the strength to lead others on the path. Trust the path that you're on. Life itself is about evolving. We will change. You will change. A few years ago, it was one of those warm spring days. It was before we all had our own Chromebooks, had classes. We're all down in the computer lab. It was one of those high 70s spring days before the air conditioning was on. It was warm in the building. In the computer labs, it gets exceptionally warm over the course of the day. The computers are on all day, bodies are in there. We're all heating stuff up because we're all mammals, you know? But it's a pretty easy day for a teacher, frankly, in the computer lab. Just kind of walk around and help people out as needed, not a whole lot of exertion. But when students, by the end of the day, walked in that room, they felt the heat of the room immediately. One of the students looked at me and she said, "Mr. Frieder, why are you not hot?" I said, "It's because I'm older, but when I was younger, I was one sweet piece of eye candy." You change, you know. You evolve in life. You already evolved, you really have. I want you to take a moment and try to remember when you were in 6th grade. Remember you in 6th grade? Remember your favorite teacher? Remember what your classroom looked like? Did you have a favorite shirt? Did you still have your My Little Ponies? I still have mine. Remember you in 6th grade? Remember 6th grade you? Now imagine 6th grade you looking at you right now, right here. But 6th grade you have imagined you right now, right here. But here's the thing. That distance between you right now and 6th grade you, it shows you that you've evolved, yeah? That's the same distance between you and college graduate you. So, when right now you looks forward in time and looks at college graduate you, what will be unimaginable to you right now? We're always evolving. We evolve because we engage ourselves in our communities, we engage ourselves in the life around us. What fulfills you? What's led to that evolution? What's your favorite class? Who's your favorite teacher? What's your favorite activity? Where are you at? That's the question. Where are you at? More important question is who you're with. Seriously, look around right now. Look at somebody that's a friend of yours. Or look at that person that you've always thought was just pretty cool. Maybe in a group with them sometimes in class, but you don't really know them, but you know they're cool. And dig it, man. Some people look at you right now. They're thinking that same thing. Here's how you know that you can trust your path. You're here. You're not sixth grade you. You're doing well. There's all these pressures, right, to make decisions. What college you're going to go to, what major you're going to have, where you're going to live now that you're moving and have a different job. Do you want pancakes or French toast? Oh my God, slow down, I don't know. Doesn't matter. If you're here now and it's good, and you can keep answering that question that it's good that I'm here now throughout your life, relax. Decisions will take care of themselves. Decisions don't create the path, you do. Trust the path that you're creating. When I was a junior in college, I was at this party. It's a New Year's Eve party on the outskirts of Ann Arbor, Michigan. And right on the outskirts, outside of the backyard, there was farmland. And all these beautiful people, these people who were close soul friends, who remain really close friends of mine to this day. And there were musicians and there was food. And I was just kind of overwhelmed by it all. I stepped out in the backyard. It was one of those beautiful, clear winter evenings, crystalline, but not too cold. And the moon was shining bright. And I was standing in the backyard all alone, and I could hear the music and the laughter from inside, and I couldn't believe I'd found myself in this place, and I tried to figure out, how did I get here? How in God's name did I end up in this amazing place? And I couldn't figure it out, and it felt weird, like I should know how I got here. And then I realized it didn't matter. It didn't matter. What mattered is that I was there. And for the first time in my life, I thought, trust yourself. If you have arrived here, even if you can't figure it out, it's because you've made good decisions. And if you continue to make good decisions, then you can continue to trust the path that you're on. You have to be willing to make those decisions happen. You have to be willing to make your own evolution happen. Muhammad Ali said that a man who views the world the same at 50 as he did at 20 has wasted 30 years of his life. Be active in the decisions that you make. Create your own path. That's what Ali was saying. Don't just trust the path, but create it. Life itself is about acts of creation. We create more the more educated we are, the larger our brains are. There's tremendous power in the educated mind, and not just in what we learn in school, but our willingness to be open to learning in all things that we do. The larger our brains are, the more flexible our minds are, the more choices we have in life. People who work in crappy jobs do so because they don't have a choice. People with large brains can change those choices. They can create better paths. Large brains equal freedom. Educated minds really do equal freedom. To be educated is truly to be free. Everything you learn makes your brain grow. We know this from neuroscience. When we learn new things, new neural pathways are created. So sometimes I know I get frustrated in school, like, damn, Mom, I'm not going to use calculus. When am I going to use calculus, man? When am I ever going to learn history? Never. You don't need to know. Right? It's cool. If you need to know, Google it. Quick, to the internet! Who was the fourth president? But it does matter. Because every time we learn something new, our brain grows. And I might never use calculus, but I know that my mind works in a more disciplined way because I know calculus and I was compelled to learn it. And I might never need U.S. history again, but through history and literature classes, we learn to see the world from multiple perspectives. We learn to understand happenings within their time and context. Everything we learn makes our brain grow. Everything we do makes our brain grow, and it makes it more able to grab on to the things that really do matter to us, that we really do need. It's a great frustration that teachers and administrators I know have about education today. Summarized well by Arthur Acosta, who's a professor emeritus at Cal State University. He says what was educationally significant and hard to measure has been replaced by what is educationally insignificant and easy to measure. So now we measure how well we've taught what isn't worth learning. You are not a test score. You are not your GPA. You are those qualities that were spoken about at the beginning of this evening. What is worth learning is anything you find worth learning, anything you compel yourself to learn. You will go through a process of your life of continually creating and recreating yourself. I have friends of mine in high school that knew what they wanted to do in high school and did exactly that. I have friends of mine who do nothing like they thought they would be doing. One of my best friends wanted to be a lawyer when he was in high school, and he became a lawyer. He's argued cases to the Supreme Court of the United States, and he's taught law at Georgetown University. I have another friend who started out as a high school biology teacher. Now she's a professor of anthropology at Bowdoin College in Maine. One of my best friends started out as a computer programmer. Now he's one of the world's literally leading authorities in African drumming. My own father was a grocery store supervisor for over 20 years. Then he, as my mother, opened up a small business. They did that for 20 years, and then he retired, but he couldn't just retire. And so he got a real estate license and began selling condominiums. And when he retired from that, when he was in his mid-70s, he picked up a part-time job working at a sporting goods store. My own wife, one of the most compassionate and strong people I know, has a master's degree in creative writing and poetry. She also has a degree in nursing. She wanted to be a writer. She still does write. She's now a director of nursing in an acute care facility for children and adults with disabilities. Life is not about finding yourself. It's really easy to find yourself. You want to do it? Here, help you find yourself. Quick, look down. That's you. You found yourself. You don't go to college to find yourself. Life is not about finding yourself. Life is about creating yourself. And to be responsible enough to be conscious of the choices that we make. I saw Finley Lau's senior recital. It was amazing. And I don't know if Finn's going to become a professional piano player or what he's going to do, and I don't think it matters. It is impossible to argue that either the world or Finn himself are not better places because of the dedication he's shown in creating that part of his path. I was sitting there all night. In my brain, I kept thinking, holy crap, I know this guy. Wow. And that's one of those checks. I'm like, I must be doing okay, right? Here I am, right here. One of my current students, Emily Carrillo, has a beautiful singing voice. And sometimes first period she comes in, and I got music playing, and she'll sing a few snippets. And I don't think what Emily realizes is that when she does that, everyone around her stops and just listens for a moment. You know? Like when you walk out on that first warm spring day and you can hear the birds, and you stop walking until you don't hear the sound of your own footsteps on the pavement, just for a moment to hear that sound you haven't heard in months. It's a wonderful moment. Created for others because she's created that path. I sat at a table having breakfast at the National Merit inductees ceremony with Jolie Boulos and her parents. And I heard her parents' story, immigrants from Egypt who were in the Middle East, in Egypt when Anwar Sadat was assassinated. Their journey was phenomenal and difficult and challenging. And it's a journey they chose and a journey they created. And seriously, have you ever met anybody as nice as Jolie Boulos? No? And with people that went through the journey her parents did, it would be easy to raise children who were embittered or angry or cautious. But she is none of those because they have chosen. They choose to replace I can't with I won't. And as soon as you make that decision, you stop yourself from creating. Won't you? You will. You can do anything you want to do, which is why it's important to also consider yourself as leaders. To be bold enough to lead others on the path. Life is about connecting to others. Seriously, if compassionate, intelligent, creative people like you, if we don't take the lead, then who will? If not us, then who? Look around at people sitting with you right now. Do you want anyone else leading your society? Look, it's not just big things that you have to lead people on. You don't have to end poverty or cure diseases or invent a decent tasting, fat-free, spicy nacho Dorito. I'm not saying it would be great if you did. I'm just saying, takes little things, right? Drive by the park and all the lacrosse games and softball games and baseball games going on. Why is that even possible? Because that many children take part in that. It's because a handful of parents stepped forward and said, I'll do that. I'll lead. When the 6th grade class goes on a field trip overnight to Springfield, it's because a few brave and maybe a little bit insane parents said, yes, I will go on the bus with them. I will do that. And that's what makes those events possible. When someone new moves into the neighborhood, who makes them feel welcome? Because it's not what, it's who. It's your job to be that who. You'll surprise yourself at what you can do and who will follow if you lead enthusiastically. This student a few years ago left something behind in my classroom. She had a foods class down the first floor, and I knew this, so I grabbed it and ran downstairs, got an off period next. And as I went to her foods classroom, I went by the daycare room down there, you know, where all the little kids are, and I could see like red and blue lights flashing there. I didn't know what that was about because I wanted to get the stuff to the class before the class began, so I wasn't interrupting the class. And as I came back down the hallway, I could still see the red and blue lights flashing because the hallway door was still open. And so I looked in, I thought, what the heck's going on, man? It's like disco day down in the daycare. What's going on, man? And so I looked in, and everyone else was out of the room, and the door to the outside was open. I could see people milling around in the grass outside. There was one little guy in there, like 3 years old, and he saw me look in, and he looked at me, and he goes, dude, they have a fire truck here today. Come on! Kid's going to be a leader. His day was outstanding. Mine just got a whole lot better. Yeah, fire trucks are cool. Lead by being brave in your stumbles. We've all gotten grades lower than we hoped. We've all messed up papers. We've all forgotten to study for tests, except for Isaiah Lou. But otherwise, the rest of us. You know what? We're okay, right? We survived. We're fine. We're still good people. We're still smart people. Right? You raise your hand. You say something really smart in class, and the teacher goes, "Dude, no, that ain't it." You know, you're still a smart person. You know that saying, adversity builds character. That's crap. Adversity reveals character. And so only people of strong character, people like you, can be trusted to lead others and to bring yourselves through adverse times. Lead with compassion. My favorite challenges is from the Dalai Lama. I think about it every day. It's on the quotation board on the outside of my door in my classroom. It's the one quotation in my classroom that never changes. It says, be kind whenever possible. It is always possible. Neil Thurman said, don't ask what the world needs, ask what makes you come alive, and go do it. Because what the world needs is more people who have come alive. I want the world filled with people like you who have come alive. Plato, in his philosophic wanderings, gives a beautiful description of how souls enter this earth. When I read this again a couple weeks ago, I thought of you all. He says, the souls of people on the way to earth life pass through a room full of lights. Each takes a taper, often only a spark, to guide it in the dim country of this world. But some souls, by rare fortune, are detained longer. They have time to grasp a handful of tapers, which they weave into a torch. These are the torchbearers of humanity. It's poets, seers, and saints who lead and lift the race out of darkness toward the light. They are the lawgivers and saviors, the light bringers, way showers, and truth tellers. And without them, humanity would lose its way in the dark. Is this who you are? Shine your lights. Thank you.
I love it because it gives you guests an opportunity to just get a glimpse of what it might be like to sit in the 5th hour AP US history class or to sit in a classroom in Vernon Hills High School. This is what your kids go through, listen to, are motivated by. And so Mr. Friedrich, we want to say thanks again for that. So seniors, I don't know if you remember, but last year at this time, you all stood up right here and you recited a pledge. Do you remember that? And so at this time, I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you for leading well. I want to say thank you for serving selflessly. And I want to say thank you for displaying strong character. At the start of this year, I told you as a senior class, as you guys all sat in front of me one of those days in August, that we as a school will go as you lead us. And to this point, you have done well. So I want to say thank you. Juniors, it is now your opportunity. In short order, before you know it, the end of the year will be here, and the start of next year will be upon us, and it will be your turn to carry the mantle forward. So at this point, you get to stand. Please do. And you get to recite the National Honor Society Pledge. How exciting is that? You ready? Let's see if we can make this work. Repeat after me. I pledge myself to uphold the highest purposes of the National Honor Society, to which I have been elected. I will be true to the principles for which it stands, and will maintain and encourage high standards of scholarship, leadership, character, and service. Well done. You may be seated. And at this time, it's my pleasure to introduce Mrs. Beagle, our Student Activities Advisor, to the podium to conduct the induction ceremony for you juniors.
I think somebody's calling all leaders. Okay, that was my one joke. All right, let's start with the first row. All right, here we go, juniors. Rebecca Ackerman. Let's see if you guys can keep that up for about 100. Aparajitha Adiraju. Ankit Agarwal. Garima Aurora. Zach Bauman. Sammy Beatty. Aaron Blaze. Isabel Bogievich. Martin Bulletin. Emily Carrito. Natalie Castano. Kathy Chen. Katie Clayson. Dylan Cohen. Aaron Crowley. Sneha Syriac. Sarah Demas. Ashwini Deshpande. Miracle Joy Fowler, Brandon Ferrara, Scott Flake, Arden Flume, Lexi Flume, Nikki Flora, Sarah Fortman, Ravi Gandhi, Adam Gates, Julie Goffman, Ryan Gold, Keaton Goshorn, Matt Grammons, Cole Gilliam, John Hahn, Lily Hemesath, Athena Herrera NG, James Hammer, Stephanie Hall, Emily Hugh, Danya Ibrahim, Kishore Iyer, Leah Jacoby, Olivia Jesbudis, Bevan John, Jenna Joyce, Eunice Kim, Andrea Kokinis, Michael Kokinis, Tim Kuchevsky, Jared Lawless, Caroline Lee, Jennifer Lee, Lauren Lee, Sophia Lihaki, Sarah Lindsay, Mimi Lerman, Oliver Leung, Kelly Lee, Ellery Longden, Lauren Lum, Aaliyah Mariella, Annette Matthew, Nicole Mishira, Spencer Moffett, Nikki Mordique, Leslie Munn, Caitlin Nelson, Anna Ochoa, Anna Okinches. Pavani Penderavada. Emma Papano. Anthony Papalov. Maddie Powder. Amelia Pranica. Maddie Renahan. Jenna Repkin. Jeff Rosenstack. Augustine Sandoval. Elizabeth Sandoval. Ian Schwartz. Akash Sethi. Hannah Shanes. Eric Shin. Megan Singer. Shawshank Shrikant. Lindsay Takoka. Aristides Tankus. Jessica Tarkovsky. Nicholas Terry. Jacqueline Toledo. Stephen Tao. Colin Turley. Lily Walters. Matthew Wise. Emily Whalen. Shane Williamson. Sharon Wong. Danning Zing. Daniel Young. Eunice Yoon. Gloria Yun. Jeffrey Zhang. Michelle Zhang. Let's give a round of applause to our juniors.
So with that, our ceremony will conclude for the evening. I do want to thank parents for coming, and I just want to say that, parents, it is such a privilege for me to be able to work with such a fine group of nerds as your students. And I want to recognize a special group of nerds that are sitting up front right now, and that's the NHS leadership team. For seniors, let's give them a round of applause. These seniors run our meetings, they make our club run, and so we're very appreciative to them. We have refreshments outside in the foyer that you're welcome to have with us, but before we dismiss, I do want to have an opportunity for some pictures. So we'll have all the seniors come up on stage. Parents, feel free to come down a little bit closer and take pictures. And when the seniors are done, we'll have the juniors come up for a group picture as well.